Lost in the Funhouse with Gregbo and Blondie.
Welcome to Lost in the Funhouse. Quarantine number we still don't know.
We've lost count by now. We're on freaking
21.
eternal lockdown here.
Eternal lockdown. That's a good one. That's a good
2020. What a year.
one. Right?
Yeah, it starts out with a lockdown, and now we're already into murder hornets.
Yeah, I had my
Right.
15th year anniversary, and things went the heck after that.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry it was this year.
Yeah. Now I'm hoping to make it to 16.
Right?
Yeah, and see, for anybody out there listening, believe it or not, despite Richard, I consider Richard's my home store.
Yeah.
So,
So we introduced Richard.
Yeah, it's sad.
ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I brought that up, and the cackling you hear right there is from none other than Richard Morgan, the owner of Richard's Comics and Collectables in Greenville, South Carolina.
On Lawrence
Howdy,
Road.
people. Yep, Lawrence
Lawrence
Road. We are currently open for regular hours. Come by and visit whenever.
What's your address?
1214 Lawrence Road.
And if you bring in a special coupon, Richard will actually not harass and bother you
Yep.
while you're shopping.
And I'm giving away Gregbo business cards.
Yeah, see? There you go. So I guess the topic tonight is one that has affected, well, everybody in the world. I don't think it hasn't touched anybody on planet Earth.
Yeah, the only people that aren't being adversely affected are like Costco, Walmart, and grocery stores.
Right.
Those ones are selling out. Everybody else?
And toilet paper manufacturer.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Charmin's behind this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's more of a Gregbo problem.
Well, listen. If I'd had the foresight, I would have become a toilet paper tycoon.
Oh my God. Who would have
Smoking one of
believed
those
it?
big cigars and everything, a little monocle.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we're here today, I guess, to talk specifically, and this is one of the reasons I asked Richard to come on, because Richard and I pick on each other all the time, but we've been friends for, like, ever.
Oh my God, it's terrible.
Don't remind
It
us.
really is.
But, yeah, some days are better than others, of course.
Yeah. I got the same problem Misty has, low self-esteem.
But
Oh my God.
Has he
don't
got you
forget
coming
tip
over
your
next week,
waitresses,
Richard?
everybody. Well, so what we decided to do, I called Richard last week and asked him if he would be kind enough to come on the show and chat with us a little bit and talk about, we just kind of wanted to talk about, because, the comic book industry as a whole and how the coronavirus and the lockdown and everything's kind of affecting all the nooks and crannies of the comic industry. And, I come at it as an artist. Richard is a well-known retailer and perpetual vendor at the comic shows. And
I remember those.
those were the days, right?
Yep.
It doesn't look like we're going to have one till the end of towards the end of the year.
We keep hoping. We'll see.
We'll see. We're not even sure of that yet.
That's very true. They may still happen before the summer. We'll see.
Yeah, well, I'm hopeful, but it is what it is. And you and I, we were talking the other day about how we certainly understand. Yeah, I understand both sides. You and I both were talking about how we understand both sides of it. We understand the people who are being cautious, and we're also understanding the people that are, some people are caution versus sustainability of their career and their livelihood. So.
Right. No, I don't want anyone to get sick from coming to the comic book shop, let alone, of course, die, of course, from having this crazy virus.
Yeah.
But at some point in time, life has to go on. I hate to say it, but
yeah, it does.
Maybe this thing, maybe it just has to run its course. I was really amazed when all this stuff started happening, how many people literally die per year of just the regular flu.
Right?
I didn't know either.
To me, that's if they can't solve the regular flu, and people just continue on with lives on that,
how are they going to solve the
I don't know
super
the
flu?
answer. Yeah.
Yeah, how are they going to solve the super flu? But yeah, I saw, you and I were talking, Richard, and I saw where some of the retailers and some of our buddies, since they're not on here, I won't name them, but there wasn't anything. I mean, they were just talking about, trying to get people's reaction to see and kind of gauge if we can do a con, or if somebody did a con, are we even getting close to the point, like how many people, how many vendors and artists and writers and musicians and what have you, cosplayers, how many would feel comfortable coming,
Right.
how many still wouldn't come, and it was surprising, yeah.
And that's the magic question. The show that's for our area, that's the largest one, is SC Comic Con.
It is.
That one's
Very
still
cool
scheduled
time,
for
yeah.
July 17, 18, I think.
Yep.
It may actually happen. I hope in a way it does, just because
really
I want to do something. But
Yeah.
that'll be the key question. Will people come, attendees, and how many guests or vendors will still, take the shot at coming?
Yeah, and now mine is not set in stone, but I have a store signing. The weekend, everything got locked down.
Right.
And I'm supposed to go up to Golden Age Comics in Maryville, Tennessee, right over from Knoxville, and do a signing. And I talked to the guy. He's a really sweet guy, really nice guy. And so what we've decided to do was just kind of wait until, we get through the stay-at-home orders and everything else and just kind of see where we are.
Right.
So I don't know anything yet. I know that as soon as we're able to get out there, we're going to be going up there and doing it. Of course, I'll announce it here and on social media and everything. But, we just don't know. I mean,
Right.
As a matter of fact, right up until they did the lockdown, we actually canceled it right before they issued the lockdown because he called me and he was still going to go ahead and go with it because there was a lot of fans that he had up there that were planning on coming out and seeing me. But,
But both of those guys will be okay.
both of them. I see what you did there. But, they were going to ride up on one of those double bicycles with each other. But, we started talking about it, and I said, look, for us, where we are in the country, in the upstate of South Carolina, it takes us, 3 hours to get up there?
Yeah.
It takes us about 3 hours to get up to Maryville. So for us to go up there, stay overnight, 3 hours up, 3 hours back, staying overnight and everything else, that's a lot of time and investment to kind of guesstimate how many people are just hope enough people show up.
Right. And your other problem is going to be, would a hotel have been open, and can you have got into a restaurant to get something to eat?
Right.
Yeah,
all those places were closed.
Yeah.
That's one thing. That was one of my deciding factors. I told Blondie, I said, if we get up there, sure, we can order out somewhere and bring it into the hotel. But, at the time, really, Richard, just like you're saying, at the time, we didn't know how badly it was going to affect restaurants.
Right.
Or not just restaurants, but, if we'd had car trouble on the way. I mean, there's just so many things when you start getting away from your home base.
No, it's tough.
That can
It's a
go
tough
wrong.
call. Even me opening the store, they closed me down literally for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But when they opened, I was happy to come in and open up the store, but there's still a lot of customers, regulars, that I have not seen yet.
Sure.
That are probably still waiting to see how all this goes. Are we going to have a further outbreak now that more things have opened up again?
Yep.
Who knows? I've got no way of knowing. Part of me is, I still got bills. I still got things coming in that I need some sales for.
Right.
And granted, the sales now are certainly less than what they regularly are. Every little bit helps me continue.
Well, no, you're right. And, there has been a push by several people out there, in comics, just in general, like the comic industry, trying to figure out something, to do. And everybody, all the fans have been supportive of comic shops, but this came on so fast that it wasn't like there was something in place that everybody knew what to do and how to do it.
Right. No, it's a brand new game right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now, like I was going to say, is most of the publishers told their current writers, artists, editors, whichever, to kind of lay off of their current projects, not do anything, because it was a really undetermined when books might be able to be public or shipped out into stores. Diamond has opened it up now. They've declared a date. May 20th will be their first regular shipment. Marvel Comics won't come in until May 27th, so this will just be DC and other publishers.
Right.
Now, prior to this, the last 3 weeks, DC made arrangements with a couple of small distributors, a couple mail order companies mainly,
I read about
to
that.
put out a few DC comics each week, which has been great. For me, at least, it's helped. I'm happy to have done it. A lot of retailers did not like that because these two mail order companies are, so to speak, competitors.
Right.
I know one of them's Midtown Comics, which,
yeah.
truthfully, it's a competitor, but not a direct competitor.
No,
there
I
isn't
wouldn't
any
say
information that I had to give them, anything secret by any means. The part about me being friend with Gregbo kind of cut into it a little bit, but
they charge you triple.
oh, definitely. But other than that, it's been a pretty good existence. Now, coming up next week will be my last shipment with those the new distributors, because I'll rather just keep it with Diamond just to keep it consistent, where I only have to worry about one distributor instead of having multiple ones. Now, possibly
back
that
in the
changes.
old days.
Yeah, possibly that changes. I've been hearing that some small publishers that could not normally distribute through Diamond may hang with these new distributors. I don't know. But we'll see. But right now, obviously it's a trying time. Some shops are wishing that Diamond might not ship yet. They're still not open. Not every state by any means. Several states are pure on lockdown. They cannot open their shops. Now, they can do a mail order, possibly curbside delivery, but they can't just open.
Well, for those listening, I know most of the people that listen to this podcast will know who we're talking about when we say Diamond, but Diamond is the big de facto 800-pound gorilla in the room distributor they're basically how your comics get to the comic shops.
Correct. They have exclusive contracts with with all the different publishers. DC apparently no longer has an exclusive.
Well, now back in the day, who was it back in like the 90s? It was Diamond,
Capital City, Heroes World.
Yep.
Yeah, there were multiple ones that just could not. There's a lot of people that may not like Diamond being a monopoly, but to be honest with you, I think the problem was with those multiple distributors is not one of them was getting enough business to keep it constantly sustained. By having Diamond gets it all right now, and they're not making bunches of money off that, but sheer off the quantity type deal.
No, but I know that not just getting off topic just for a second, but I know that Diamond it has to be a lot easier dealing with one place for like the shop owners like yourself.
Yep.
But and for the big major companies, shipping out it probably is a whole heck of a lot easier. But I know while they do, I know they still do a lot of independents and stuff, but I know it's a lot tougher for the independents.
It is, and Diamond has some limitations. I think it's either 1,000 copy or a 1,500 copy run before Diamond you can distribute through Diamond at any kind of good rate.
It was rough back in the 90s, but with Diamond, but it's a lot rougher now that they've got a monopoly hold. But,
right. No, it's a good news, bad news type thing.
So is Diamond strictly like North America, or is that like?
No, Diamond does North America, Canada, UK. They've got it all right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So Diamond affected pretty much everybody.
Correct. Yeah. When they closed down their warehouses due to the virus and keeping their employees safe, there were literally no shipments anywhere, and that's when all the publishers pretty much told their creators to kind of hang back, don't send anything out. Diamond was not receiving new shipments of books from printers. I think the printers were even closed at the time being.
So how long has that been?
The third week in April, they shut down.
Right.
Pretty much as I recall. So it'll be almost 2 months. Yeah, there will not be a May preview catalog at this point in time, I'm hearing.
Well, when Diamond shuts down, it's like the equivalent of somebody reaching over to the wall and switching off comics off.
Right. And Diamond didn't shut down necessarily their own free will. All the shops were being closed. Nobody wanted to receive comics and get a weekly invoice and not be able to sell them. And they also wanted to keep their employees safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't begrudge Diamond at all. As a matter of fact, it's kind of like we all have our own feelings and as I'm sure a lot of the people that are listening, the audience is probably divided on
Right.
which side they fall. And I really don't believe a side is right and I don't believe a side is wrong. You've kind of got to do what's best for you and your family.
Right.
And, that's just how I come down on it. A lot of these people in the comic book industry, I mean, like a lot of I absolutely hate that a lot of these cons, that we're not going to have them this year. But while I hate that we're not going to have them this year, I certainly understand why they're doing it, why some are choosing to do it, and why some are having to do it.
Right. Now, and for the next large ones that may start up in July that might happen, even if the convention gets to come in, we don't know, nobody will know how it's going to be attended, how many people will show up, how many guests will come from any kind of a distance or attendees. It's going to be, they won't be normal shows regardless.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be till next year.
Well, it's gonna. You and I kind of touched on this the other day in our phone call. Is I think what's going to happen is there's a lot of people who are going to come out and go ahead and get involved and go do the cons, do the shows. If a show comes out, July, August, and
right.
But what's going to happen? There's going to be a lot of wait and seers
yep.
who are going to be still sheltering in place, staying at home as much as they can, et cetera, which is totally understandable. But I think they're waiting to see if, when this happened, if all of a sudden, the numbers are going way back up. But I think that and I hate to say it to some of these cons, because for those out there who attend cons or read about the cons or see the cons on TV or whatever, and have always wondered about it, the people that put these cons on put a lot of preparation, a lot of time, and a lot of money on the line to bring you a show. And sadly, these first ones that do it are going to be kind of like test rabbits.
Right. And we're going to be testing right now with the restaurants kind of opening. Yep. And they've removed the lockdowns, so you don't really have to do the stay at home anymore necessarily. So they're lightening up some of the stuff now. So through May and through June, we're going to see if the trend, if the virus bumps up, spikes up, then the shows may not happen in July.
Right.
If by opening all this stuff, we do not get, and I hope and pray we don't get a big spike of, people getting sick or dying, then the shows will go on. But even if the shows go on, there's going to be a certain percentage that still won't come. Now, some of the guests will have to come. Some vendors will have to come because this is their livelihood. They make nothing else. You yourself have told me that some of these shows do a pretty good ratio of your income.
Yeah,
to some extent, we have to risk it. I've got to go. Yeah. I have to open the store.
And that's kind of what I want to get to. That's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show, Richard, is I wanted, like I said, we're old friends despite us jabbing at each other all the time.
I wish you'd quit bringing that up.
And,
I really do have other friends, people. I promise.
The check hadn't cleared, Richard, so I'm going to keep talking about it. So, bottom line is, it affects, even though it's one industry, it affects all the different little avenues and nooks and crannies differently. Because when I first heard about the shutdown, like I told you, going to the cons, that's a big part of, my income.
Oh yeah, everybody.
My income stream. So, but I was more in a position, being an artist and having the different social media and all that stuff, that I could do a product, sell, I could draw a product, take commissions, what have you, and ship it to the person.
And you can even work on your old book.
Yeah, exactly. And,
not.
Oh, quiet you. It's coming. So, but the situation is, seriously, I mean, there's a lot of people who couldn't come to cons, and they were where they would save their money and go to their local cons and stuff. They started going online and discovering new artists. I'm very lucky. I was really nervous at first when the announcement first came, but then I was one of the fortunate ones, very fortunate, and got a ton of commissions that
No, you've been lucky enough that you were successful enough through your work from Zenoscope, the long forgotten Jill's Tales book. and other stuff that you've got your name out. So there's still a lot of fans out there
Yeah.
for you to do commissions for and sketch covers and, whatever other miscellaneous work you can do. So that's good. I could resort back to opening an eBay store or whatever, but then you got the shipping issues, and the post offices are also kind of a nuisance to do.
Yeah.
Out of all of us,
Yeah.
Misty's probably the luckiest one because she still gets to work. She doesn't get to go out and have fun, do cosplay stuff though, and so and we both know she likes that.
Oh, she's been doing cosplay stuff.
I don't need to know any of the little secrets if you don't mind.
Yeah, this is a family show.
Yes, please.
In case my employer listens to this podcast, I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, a lot of cosplay's been getting done.
I don't need to know. Thank you.
But I have been very privileged. I mean, that I'm able to work at home. So
Right, and a lot of folks are, and that's good for them. Unfortunately, there's also been a lot of folks that have been furloughed or
Right.
literally unemployed through this. The government's trying to do some things, but it's just, that the $1,200 stimulus check. I really haven't seen mine yet, but even if that was to actually get to everybody, that's just a drop in the bucket in some cases for some
Right.
people's bills.
Yeah.
It's nice. Don't get me wrong. It's just not going to pay off your bills for months,
No.
and you're going to have to pay taxes on it also at some point in time, next year to cover it. But
Well, one thing
things are just going to have to go back to somewhat normality eventually.
Well, one of the things I found is, see, typically, because everybody be kidding me over here because my bushes and stuff had grown up like higher than the front of my house because
Right.
I don't have, and Richard, you can understand this as many times as you do. By the time I would come home, by the time I start the week, I'd be working on projects and commissions and getting stuff ready for a con the upcoming weekend. Then we'd leave usually on a Friday, be at the con Saturday and Sunday, come home late Sunday, and then Monday I start all over again. So I don't have a lot of time to do a lot of stuff around the house.
I thought Misty was doing all that.
Well,
Yeah, she's
she's
the one with
falling
all the
back on
drills.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, she is. She's like, like my own Home Depot store
Yep.
over here. But seriously, though, I got to the point when I was talking to Crippler. I was talking to Crippler online, on the phone, and he was like, well, how's the lockdown going? I said, well, you know how I'm inside all the time and I never leave the house? He goes, yeah. I said, I've been doing yard work. He goes, oh, my God, you must be bored. I said, I'm not bored. I said, it's just that I'm inside. I'm inside all day.
I bet the neighbors are freaking out.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, he came out of his house.
They probably wonder who he is.
Tell them.
We were outside messing in the garage, and the neighbor across the street came over, and he said, "We got like a bet going." I was like, "Either y'all are fixing to get married, or you're fixing to sell this house." And we both laughed, and we were like, "Neither one."
I said, I'm just finally getting around to it.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah,
Right?
but I mean,
it's like the
been-
Burbs with
Yeah,
Tom
it's like
Hanks.
Burbs, man. It is.
Yeah,
It is.
you're the one in the creepy house that nobody goes to,
Oh,
If they see
yeah,
Gregbo out in the yard, they call the cops.
right?
Yes. Yeah. They think the yard's been attacked by a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
But now, Neil, I know that you've been slammed and been busy with what you're doing.
Thankfully.
And, yeah, Neil's in the entertainment industry, and Neil has been doing. You've been doing, which I'm so glad. But at the same time, it was kind of like with me, it was kind of a surprise because so many film projects got put on halt during the lockdown. But
Right.
then,
A lot of them also got finished because of the lockdown.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking because I didn't look at it from that point of view. But you all of a sudden got hit with like a ton of score work, didn't you?
Yeah, like all these directors are like, hey, I've got all this time to finish my film now. So it's like, boom, 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 boom. It's done. Here you go. And it's like, whoa, I'm going to be busy.
No, that's good though.
Yeah. I'm grateful.
I got to do some reorganization for the store and the basement stuff. Nowhere near as much as I should have done, but having everything ready and you still can't bring in some of the customers. Like I said, May 20th, they're going to start the shipments up, and that's kind of even a risk for me. I don't know how many of the regulars will come in still.
True.
Well, I'll tell anybody who's listening that's within driving distance to Richard's store in Greenville, South Carolina. But if you will follow him on Facebook, every so often he does what he calls a basement sale.
Right.
And he has just a bazillion comics down there to go through in that basement sale.
And actually
I mean,
twice as many now, because I have both of those basement rooms now
really?
ready to go, but I cannot have a basement sale because you can't do large events right now because you can't attract a lot of people.
Yeah.
So until the events are able to occur, like Free Comic Book Day, which normally is first Saturday of May, has been severely postponed. They still think it's going to happen. I still hope it does. I have part of the books already. Do what?
Are they still? That's what she was saying. Go ahead, Misty.
Well, I was going to ask if they had said anything about when it might be now.
No ETA of a date, but they're still hopeful because the reality of it is, they were going to ship the books out in waves. I have the first wave in the store now, half a dozen titles or so. So I'm assuming by that, they probably have them all in their warehouse. They've got all the books. Now it's just a matter of when. They don't want to throw these books away necessarily.
Yeah.
Right.
But the problem is some of these books for Marvel or DC are tied to some of the big events. The only good news is all those events have been delayed due to the shutdown. So I don't know. I don't know when they're going to do it. They want to still do it. They have every intention of still having a Free Comic Book Day. But who knows when?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it killed Free Comic Book Day, Star Wars Day.
Yep.
I mean, it just, it just came through and just ravaged what we...
Everything. Every industry has been affected. The movies have all been delayed or pushed back. Theaters aren't even open right now. You couldn't go watch a movie if you wanted to. No. So, right now, my entire life consists of pretty much getting up, going to the store, leaving the store, going home, with maybe a grocery trip in between. But other than that, there's nothing else you can do. You can't really go out to eat. You can't go hang with friends.
Right.
Pokemon Go.
Yeah. Well, I can go play Pokemon Go a little bit. But even that you can't. But even that is limited. And I was kind of surprised when I reopened my store. Just a brief thing on the Pokemon Go that Gregbo brought up here. I tried to do something with a couple of friends on this last Saturday and called and said, hey, look, I know we're on lockdown, but if you just want to drive around, we can play a little bit without having to, get out and do stuff. And I was told they could not come because I had opened my store, because I potentially might have come in contact with somebody that had the virus and they didn't want to take that home to their kids or husband.
Yeah, I ran into them. I saw them out playing.
Yeah, no doubt.
Playing Pokemon Go.
You haven't been out of your house but twice, so that isn't true.
That is true.
And you've never been out past the yard anyways.
Blondie drags me to the con. So, well, let me ask you this. The question is, when you found a Pokemon, did they have the little masks on?
No, but some of them are wearing hats right now. But yeah, that's nothing to do with anything else. And that company's actually being pretty smart. They're doing a lot of stuff that you can do from just sitting at home or in a business. You don't have to go out and about. But that being aside, like I said, every aspect right now of life has been affected. The only businesses that are doing well, like I mentioned before, like the Sam's and Costco and Walmart's, and that's just certain items that are selling through like crazy.
Yeah.
The rest of every other business out there is in trouble. Disney's been shut down, Vegas, car manufacturers.
Right.
I would have, back when the very first show shut down, Emerald City in Washington State, I thought that was more of just a fluke. Maybe they just had a lot of extra cases. They were going a little bit of precautionary. I had no idea the world was going to shut down thereafter.
No, nobody did. It
will be, who knows when they come up with a vaccine. And even that being said, what is the vaccine going to do? We have a flu vaccine now that doesn't prevent anything. I couldn't tell you when the last time I got one, but people still get the flu.
Yeah.
The vaccine doesn't prevent you. So there's no way of knowing how effective if they come up with a corona vaccine it will be. It may just have to go through. I don't know.
Chicken pox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It may just have to, sadly, go through its normal routine and be done, I hope.
Well, I hope it's done because, there's so many people, and I'll tell you, like you were saying before, I got really lucky that I have.
You've been lucky.
That I have an audience and I have, fans and all that stuff. But there are a lot of really, really talented artists. And I remember Richard, you were there when I started. I remember starting and you're struggling trying to get your name out there. You're trying to build a fan base. You're trying to get your work seen and noticed. And I see all these people, and they put a lot of time and investment and effort because, when you're going to be a comic artist, it's hard to do and have a full-time job.
Right.
So you have to, either work long hours or you have to. There's a lot of sacrifice in the beginning.
There is, and you're correct. You have an established base, so that's very good for you. Unfortunately, there's a lot of smaller artists and writers out there that don't have that big base, and these conventions were being used to help them gain a base.
Right.
Well, right now they have still really no big base, and they're hurt signings or anything like this because you can't. You're not supposed to try to drive a crowd or so into the stores.
Nope.
So right now they're at a real impasse. They are, as probably more than me, hoping these conventions do return soon. I know some folks that were having books that were, they're printed, they're in boxes, they're ready to be sold, and they can't sell them and take them to a show. It's a tough time right now.
I know a lot of, speaking of that, I know a lot of artist friends of mine, and, they'll hit me up and might ask, advice on this, like how to set this up at a con or how to do that, because I've been there and done that kind of thing. And I always try to help wherever I can, but it was real sad to me because I would go on and I'd see some of these guys and girls who were on the verge of breaking in and extraordinarily talented and great, wonderful people. And they're online, and through their normal thing where they're posting their art, they're having to sell like collectible books, like, books like, from other people and come, because a lot of us comic artists, we've collected books and stuff like that over the years, and they're having to sell and do all that stuff and try to do anything they can, to make a living at it.
Right. And some of them are smart, some of them have Etsy stores or these other little small, shops out there on the internet. And granted, that does help people make sales, but that presence of being at a convention when you have several hundred or 1,000 people wandering around, you make a lot of impulse sales then where people wouldn't have known it, and they're not going to just search the internet looking for Etsy stores and going through that stuff. It's not quite the same.
It's not.
The last show that we went to was the Charleston, the Captain Comics.
Yep.
And I sat up there and I did real well at that show selling some comics. I had a couple of girls that set up with me, Kayla and Katie, and they were trying to sell some brand new items that they had just created. And sadly, they're kind of dejected right now is they can't try anymore.
Right.
I know.
And that's tough for them. They're kind of depressed that there are no other venues. They set up little stores like a lot of other artists and creators have done. But what else do you do? I'm fortunate enough to have a physical store.
Right. Yeah.
So even though we might have been shut down for a bit, people can still contact me or come in and, order something and pick up things.
Right.
A lot of these other creators or other comic guys don't have that venue. We can't just all go to Gregbo's house and get a book signed.
Well, and it's like you said, that with you, on the vendor side of things, you and I both have a lot of close and good friends that we've made over the years that don't have a store, but they sell comics at Comic-Cons full time around the clock.
Right.
And
Yeah, like I say, people like meeting. People like meeting and going and seeing the stuff, like to see the cosplayers, go see what the vendors might have, go get your favorite comic or whatever signed by a creator or whichever. And without that possibility, they're losing some of their interest, I'm sure.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, anybody who wants a comic signed by Gregbo, call me offline and I'll give you his address and just go knock on his door. But
Hey!
I'm kidding. But no, things can be arranged, for some artists and vendors and such, but not for everybody.
No, you're 100% right. And, talking about the comic book shops and, so many things are happening like online and stuff like that. But I've always said this, and I do a lot of interviews and stuff over the years. I've done a lot of interviews over the years, and everybody asks me about digital and online versus the traditional comic shops. And I'm like, there's no substitute for the comic shops, the brick and mortars like your store, Richard. Because
they're comic shops, and I think shows will last for a long time. It's still one of the very few things that you can go and perhaps meet your favorite creator, artist, writer, whatever.
Yep.
You could find that odd item that you might not find. Of course, eBay's out there, and Amazon and many other places you can buy stuff, but you don't have that interaction. You know, the guys that like Neil, that like music and such like this, you can't go meet Billy Joel somewhere and get him to sign your album,
Right.
or whomever. It's not easy. You know, movie stars, yeah, they're out there occasional, but they're not like comics. You know, digital movies exist, digital music exists, mainly because not everybody can go out and meet these folks and have the experience.
Well,
But comics are easy,
Well, right, and see that
or used to be.
That's like general cons, and I totally agree with you there. But you know, going to like a traditional brick and mortar comic shop, when you go to get your comics on New Comic Book Day, or you go, you know, during the week or after work or on your lunch break or whatever, you know, people look forward to going in there. They'll see people that have their common interest.
Right.
You can hold the toys, you can hold the comics, you can hold the different things in your hand to get a very tactile feel. And there's more, I think, there's more of a relationship between you and the medium. And, you know, I mean, not for nothing, but I mean, people will come in there. Richard, you know this as well as I do. You know, you're a shop owner. They come into their local shops and, you know, they trust their local shop owner and they want to talk to them about what's going on in the industry and what's going on in the storylines. And
yep, no, I totally agree. And comics have the unique capability, unlike other print media.
Yeah.
They don't really expire. Like newspapers and magazines are pretty much going to go digital permanent as far as that goes, because by the time that article is in the newspaper even or in that magazine, it's already been on the internet, you know, a couple weeks already. It's already old news.
Right.
Whereas comic books, there is not that problem. They're always out there, and age doesn't really affect them. Old comic stories are just as good as, in some cases, better than new comic stories.
That. I was about to say, yeah, in some cases better. I totally agree.
Yeah, there's some great stuff out there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff out there. Now, some of it, you know, some people are going digital with comics, and it's probably more of a space thing than they'd rather do. I think most people, even the guys that are collecting digital, probably would like the hard copy. It's just a lot to deal with to keep, you know, boxes and boxes of books.
Right.
Well, I think too, it's like in this world we live in, everything's like so on demand and immediate satisfaction.
Yeah.
And people are always on the go and they can always read a comic like on their phone or their iPad or whatever. But there's just not the same as picking it up. Like,
nope.
I wouldn't mind having like comics on my phone and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, I want to be able to go over that box. I want to be able to look at it. I want to be able to display it.
Right.
I want to be able to take it. You know, I remember the days when I was still in art school and I wasn't even taking my portfolio around and showing it to anybody, but I was taking comics and going and talking to some of these creators, and I would take them up. And like, I've got a full couple of boxes. I mean, nothing like you do, Richard, but I've got a couple of boxes here full of signed comics from back in the, you know, early 90s and whatnot. So, you know, that was an experience for me.
Right.
And it helped.
And it's experienced people today.
Yeah.
People miss that. People like meeting the creators and seeing the people that have, you know, that have been part of their lives.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's like, I mean, you know me, I'm one of the ones, I tell everybody when they come at the table, I'm easy to talk to. The trick is to get me to stop talking.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So, but you know,
Preaching to the choir on that one.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, Richard, you're real outgoing too. And when somebody comes up to your booth and is looking at your stuff that you brought to the cons, I mean, you sit there and you talk to them. And, you know, it's, you know, you've got to be successful at these cons and these shows. You have to be able to, you've got to like talking to people, and you've got to, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
You've got to be more gregarious. And
Anybody that's in retail has to be somewhat outgoing.
Right.
Otherwise, you're not going to be in retail very long.
Well, I see some artists at cons, and you know, some of them are really good, some of them aren't, but some of them are really, really good, and they don't have a lot of people coming by their table. I mean, even some established names. And Richard, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's tough.
Where people aren't coming up to their table because, you know, they've got their head down over their board and they're not looking up and talking, and they're not very personable, and
or they don't have an attractive cosplayer sitting at their booth.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's my secret. You've zoned in on my secret.
Oh, no doubt, buddy.
That's where Blondie comes in. She also carries all my stuff in.
Oh my God! And sets up your booth and tears down your booth and drives you, feeds you, dresses you. Oh my God, it's horrible.
She's my manager and my roadie.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm with you. I'm hoping all this stuff ends soon. I think
I don't think we'll ever be back to what it used to be.
I don't think we'll ever be
Yeah.
back. But I think by the end of May or middle of June, I think we're going to see whether things can start becoming normalish again. If we don't have a spike from by opening to the restaurants and other things out there, if this does not cause a spike, then I think they'll be a little bit more open about things, and we're going to see. But you're right, Misty. No matter, even if they open up everything tomorrow and conventions can actually happen, it will be a while, if ever, before things will go back 100% normal.
Yeah.
We may never see that again.
See, I'm already, and after seeing all this come out, it's really made me think, because over the past 2 years, Blondie has always included with my table supplies a big, huge bottle of hand sanitizer, and she's constantly having to hit me because I'm from old school, so I'm used to looking people in the eye, shaking their
You
hand,
have to shake
Right.
everybody's hand.
and it's just it's a thing I do, and it's just part of it, and over the last, she's had it on the table for 2 years, but really over the last year, she's really got it where it's sunk into my head, and I do it, but
I use it every time I touch you.
But hey, you could be like the crippler. Every time he gets back in the back after wrestling a wrestling match, he grabs the hand sanitizer and basically douses it over his entire body.
Yep, no doubt.
But seriously, she really got me using it this last year. Just religiously. And I'm gonna tell you, this coming year, once we go back, it's gonna be a lot of fist bumps and waving from behind the table or something like that. Because,
Right.
I mean, and I think it's gonna be that way for a lot of people.
Yep, I think so too. We're going to see a lot more Vulcan waves.
Vulcan waves.
Yeah.
It's just it can't be the same again. I'm hoping we don't have another 2021. I hope there's not another virus or some other outbreak. In this day and age and technology, I would have never have believed something short of the Black Plague or whatever that was wiping out everybody literally
Right.
would shut down everything. Especially, like I said, and I don't want to bring that up really to make it sound morbid, but just the number of people that every year die from a normal, flu or cold or get run over by a car or whichever.
Anything can happen.
It's a shame. It's sad.
No, it really is. And when they were putting those numbers out, I was like you, Richard. I was shocked about.
Yeah, I'm like, why haven't we been figuring out this stuff way before? We really let thousands of people die every year from from a normal flu.
I think
I don't know.
I think some things are going to change about that though, because one of the things I keep seeing on the news, and you can only believe so much of the news. I mean nowadays, but I'm hopeful that not just on the news, but the PR department for a lot of these places, this is probably going to be at least in modern time, in our lifetimes, in each person on here, our lifetimes, I think this is going to be the one where the entire world is trying to find a cure for this.
I pray this is the only one happening during our lifetime.
Well, I do too.
Right.
I don't really want this to go through again. This is
No kidding.
there will be a lot of businesses, not just comic shops by any means, that will not recover from this period.
Oh yeah.
And that's a shame. That's really sad that this would have done it. And sort of just either, if I had to close down my shop, I'd rather it be just due to low sales, mismanagement, or something, not because some virus is forcing me to close.
Right.
Mismanagement.
Like I've ever done any management. Like I've ever done any management. But still, I would rather it be some poor decision on my part that I've got too many comics, or I've made the orders too high, or whichever. Or Gregbo was in the store too often. Whatever. In order to
running people off
to make me close down. I hate to see that some crazy virus is potentially could shut you down. It's crazy.
you know what worries me, and I know the last episode we did was about conspiracy theories, and I didn't bring this up because of the whole Corona thing, but talking about this and the future and hoping we don't have another one of these again. You know what my biggest nightmare is on this is that every country in the world saw what a virus could do to the United States, shutting it down, destroying its economy.
Every country.
Else.
Yeah.
But yes.
What worries me is there's going to be some crackpot country out there that has a vendetta against the United States and is like, hey, you know what? Look what happened. That was a test run on the Corona stuff.
Right, and I really pray that you're just being a conspirational nut there, and it's not going to happen like that.
I agree.
Yeah,
but the reality of it is, I also do believe that our country and other countries are probably taking some semblance of precautions to prepare for this to happen again,
I agree.
or an reoccurring of this same virus.
Right.
See,
I don't think it'll be as easy next time. I think they'll shut down faster. I think they'll, close off incoming from folks from flying in or borders or whatever. I don't know. I don't expect this to be that bad again, but who knows? I never would have expected this to happen.
I'm glad you came in there with the glass half full guy, because Misty has, for all time, accused me and joked with me about being the glass half empty. And there I came up with the glass half empty theory. I'm glad you came in and put a positive spin on it going the other direction. And
once again, Misty, come on. Why? But whatever he has on you, don't let it hold you back, girl.
Yeah.
But no, it's I'm just hopeful. I'll be honest with you, I'm really kind of surprised I haven't been quite as stressed out from the shutdowns or the no distributor shipping items and the lower sales. I'm really kind of surprised I haven't been more stressed, and I don't know why. Probably because I'm just old and crazy and senile. But I really do believe it is going to get better. It won't be the same, but I think we will recover and we'll move on.
Yeah.
I hope so. I'll be honest with you, the alternative, if we have another spike, and I pray we don't, and things go worse again, it will be pretty devastating for either myself and a lot of places then.
Yeah.
That's going to make it even harder.
It will, because if we have a spike, if we open up to if the end of the lockdown happens too quickly, or like you said, God forbid we have another spike, it's going to scare people. It's going to be like when I was talking to you the other day, I said it's going to be like the groundhog seeing its shadow.
Yeah, me myself, I can survive for a couple, 2-3 months.
Yeah,
literally no income if that came down to that, but I can't survive continually.
Right.
Yeah.
At some point in time, I would have to make a really horrible decision and, call Misty and ask for a job. But find something.
And she will scream at you down from the rooftops.
And I might just have to suffer and take whatever I get, But, I'd have to do, I don't want to do that. And I hope I never have to do that. No offense, Misty. But I want the stores to continue. I enjoy doing this.
Right.
But at some point in time, some decisions might have to be made.
Well, you and I have talked about it in depth before about the comic book industry as a whole. And it's like, this is something you don't get into unless you just absolutely love it.
Yeah.
You have to love it. And, it's not,
this is not a get rich. This is not a get rich career.
No.
Well, except for Gregbo.
Hey.
It's not a get rich career. If I can keep paying my bills and just have fun, but got to have some fun too.
Yeah.
Just being open and paying bills is granted a major portion that I like to do.
Yeah.
But going to the shows and having the people come in, there's the fun part. And if that's all killed and the industry can exist but without fun, then I don't know why it's going to exist.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's got to be fun.
That's true,
Right.
because if you were having to sell your stuff, if you're having to sell your in-store merchandise, I mean, I get, hey, cool. Use eBay. A lot of stores do to kind of bolster some sales. Bolster your sales, build your numbers and stuff. But I don't think any shop wants to get into it to just do eBay sales and not really deal face to face with the customer.
Not if you have a physical building. If I just wanted to do eBay sales, I could have just got a storage room somewhere and have a regular job. And on my weekends or evenings, which I kind of did a little bit like that before when I just did shows without having the store. But there's no real fun in that. It's great to make the money. Don't get me wrong. But if you don't have the interaction,
Right.
There's no fun with that part.
Yeah, that's
No,
why we get in the
there's-
entertainment business. To have fun.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you something else. I mean, I love it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I post a piece of artwork, and people come on Facebook and stuff, and do the likes and the comments. But Misty will tell you, I've told her many a time. Sometimes over a period of time, I'll get into a lull. As an artist, I'll get into my own
Right.
head. So it's not just about me. I mean, that's very important, building upon your base, your fan base when you go to these cons.
Right.
Or through a store signing, but also it's seeing people's reaction in person, them talking, giving you feedback about it, and sitting there talking about, oh, I really love this because I really love this character, and this is what this character meant to me, and I like how you did it this way. People seem to, they'll post just the bare minimum online, but when you're in a conversation with them, they'll kind of go and expand a little bit further, and you get that personal. And I always feel energized usually when I come back from a con.
Yeah, because
Yeah, me and you both.
head.
Yeah, I'm tired.
It's the big head energy.
What?
No, no doubt. Well, Gregbo feels energized because he didn't carry in anything, set up the booth, or tear it down.
Yeah.
See, that's
Misty's
the method
exhausted
I'm
by the
at.
time she gets done because Misty does all of that and tries to do cosplay.
Misty at one of these Comic Cons, Misty ends up coming in with my booth, and she looks like, y'all remember what is it? How the Grinch Stole Christmas with the little dog Max?
Well,
Yeah, had that big was carrying the Grinch's.
you know,
big-
I enjoy shows. I enjoy being at the show, seeing all the people, wandering around, having the people come to my tables. But I do not enjoy the tear downs, the setups, and the driving back and forth the long distances.
Yeah.
To me, that's no fun at all.
Nope, no fun.
Right.
Nope.
Well, and
That's why I have a
shot.
shop.
And another thing that's one of your favorite things on planet Earth is when you get to a con before I do.
Which is literally every show.
I was about to say that.
I
Everybody
have
gets
never been to a show where that isn't true.
everybody
Actually,
gets to
the
con
only
before
one-
me.
The only show that doesn't occur at is the ones in Florence. Because you go down there the day before because I don't know how it works as well now, but you get fed and dined out there and everybody
Yeah.
makes a big deal of you.
I do.
But that
But
is
I
the
feel- I
only
feel
show
a lot
you're
of
early
them,
at.
Yeah, sometimes I tell him no that it starts an hour earlier. So
There you
Smart.
have
She
to.
does.
Smart.
Oh, tell them about the bacon. The
Oh,
bacon
yeah.
conspiracy.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell him there's bacon downstairs, and usually I can get him moving a little bit faster.
Just walk in the room and yell fire.
I told him I was going to start bringing that microwave bacon and heating it up in the room, and so when he smells it, then he'll get up and start getting moving.
Yeah.
Just buy one of those bags of bacon bits and kind of do them a little trail out through the house.
Right.
She knows that's mine and Brett's weakness is bacon, isn't it?
Bacon.
Yeah.
Legendary Investigations has discovered that the killer hornet is being created in a laboratory in China by crossbreeding a hummingbird with a stingray. If you see this killer hornet, do not approach it. It is considered armed and dangerous and will inflict death upon you. Your only chance is to run and run fast.
Yeah, we're going to just have to see. But like I said, I'm more positive right now with as far as the comic book side, which if this works out with the retailer, the new shipping and the customers coming back to that extent and the books getting back online with the publishers,
Right.
then the next progressive step will be these conventions and signings.
Yeah.
Which will be the good thing for everybody. And the cosplay and get free comic book day, hopefully rescheduled where it'll happen. Then
Yeah.
things will start getting back to a semblance of normal.
Yeah.
So right now is kind of a positive time for everybody to be hopeful. May 20th will be the first shipments. A lot of the states, mainly, South Carolina, of course, has been kind of open to back up. If we don't have another, and I pray we don't, a spike of the virus or a lot of concerns, we're on a road back.
Yeah. And talking about Free Comic Book Day, we're hoping that they reschedule Free Comic Book Day. But if they were to cancel Halloween Comic Fest, I think me and Richard both would be wanting to tangle with somebody.
Yeah, I don't know if if the store closed down for Halloween, I'm still decorating.
There you go. That's the spirit.
Yeah, I'm still going to decorate and put stuff out.
That's our place.
Yeah,
That's our thing on Halloween.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
If
yeah,
you think Gregbo looks scary now, you should see him on Halloween, folks.
that's the only day I look normal. It's
Sadly
the rest
true.
of the days you got to worry about.
We know.
Yeah. Hey, take off your hat. But kidding. I know it's not. I know it's all video. People can see you
Dude,
now. Gregbo shaved his head.
I shaved my head.
Dude, you should rock a mean Uncle Fester this year.
Oh yeah.
I just.
Well, that would work well
I
with Miss
just-
Misty there.
Yeah.
Oh,
She can rig up your
You
light.
got cousin It already built up, and
she can rig up the
yeah.
light bulb. Jess and
Yeah.
I do Gomez and Morticia.
there you go.
Yeah. See,
We-
have the whole.
We can
And we-
totally be
and
the
we
entire
have-
Addams family.
We have cousin It.
Yeah.
Y'all keep forgetting one rule of
What?
life.
What's that, dear?
Gregbo doesn't cosplay.
Yes, he does
It's
on occasion.
Halloween.
It's not often.
It's not
I
cosplay, it's
did.
Halloween.
I did.
It's
one
Halloween.
time.
It's Halloween. Listen to me, Gregbo. It's Halloween. It's
I
not
know.
cosplay.
Misty, what's the little girl's name on the Addams Family?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. That would be perfect for
How
Crippler.
dare you not remember that?
Crippler would be perfect for that. Crippler has the body for it and the size for being Wednesday.
I'm so glad. Blondie has a picture of him. We've got a picture of him somewhere where we were on our way back from a con or something, and Blondie had a black wig, and he put the black wig on and took a picture of him with his facial expression, and we call it the Angry Muppet photo.
Hilarious.
Well, Crippler, I know Crippler is going to listen to this. I am recommending him be Wednesday. I think he could pull it off.
Well, it's crazy. Well, Richard, we appreciate you being with us on the podcast.
Yeah, man,
And,
thank you.
No problem, guys. I appreciate the invite.
I
And
wish you luck.
we wish you luck. And listen,
Thank you.
guys, everybody out there,
Come by and get your books.
You can find Richard's online. You can order some stuff for because people can order from you online too, right?
I don't do a lot of that necessarily, but we could work out things if there was something they needed.
Yeah, and Richard's a good guy to deal with this stuff. And if you're in driving distance, please come down there and check out his shop. He's got a great shop, and it's on Lawrence Road.
Yeah, 1214 Lawrence Road.
1214.
Come on, and you can check it out on Facebook. Facebook is under Richard's Comics and Collectibles, by all means. Email address is listed on the website. It's kind of an odd address, but you can check it off there. You can shoot me messages if you're looking for something. I'm happy to help.
Yeah.
And no matter where you are, I mean, if you're not in the local area, I mean, support your local comic book shops.
Very important.
Or support your local businesses, restaurants. They all need our support right now.
Right. All small businesses right now, not just comic shops. They're all hurting for a portion, no doubt.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We've all got to do our part to help.
Yep. And support your local cosplayer.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll support mine pulling tomatoes out of it.
Take him out of the can this time.
Yeah, I learned after the incident with the nuns.
TMI again.
Well.
All right, guys. Well, it has been great, and I appreciate it.
Thank
No,
you.
we're glad to have you.
Anytime. Anytime.
And
Anytime you need some comedy relief, I'm here.
Yeah. Well, and with that, I guess it's time.